myself Jeevan Singh from SVG ISC department. So today's topic of discussion will be physics of animation. Let's discuss about the basic principle of animation, Newton's law of motion, gravity in animation, motion and kinematics, pendulum motion in animation, fluid dynamics in animation, sound and physics, special effects and physics, challenges in physics-based animation, and the future trends. Coming to the introduction part, animation is a filmmaking technique by which still images are manipulated to create moving images. Animation is the process of creating an illusion of motion and shape change by the means of rapid display of various type of pictures that were made to create a single scene. There are many types of animation as we see in our TVs, or we see many shows and pictures that are mainly differ from a real show and films, but we properly divide animation that are based on their creation such as 2D animation, 3D animation, paper animation, puppet animation, and traditional animations. Coming to the basic principles of animation, the basic principle of animation form the foundation for bringing chapters and the scene of life. Squash and stretch involve deforming objects to stimulate their elasticity and adding a scene of weight and flexibility. Anticipation emphasizes the importance of preparing the audience from an upcoming action, enhancing the overall impact. Timing dictates the pace of moments, contribution to the animation's rhythm and flow. These principles, along with other like follow through and arcs, guide animators in creating fluid and convincing motions that captivate viewers. Mastery of these principles ensure that animated characters and elements feel dynamic, natural, and emotionally resonant, enriching the storytelling experience. Newton's law of motion. Newton's law of motion, formulated by Sir Isaac Newton, are the fundamental principle that governs the motion of the object. The first law, often called the law of inertia, states that an object at rest will stay at rest and an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an external force. Second law relates force, mass, and acceleration, stating that the force acting on an object is equal to the mass of the object multiplied by its acceleration. The third law asserts that every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Together, these laws provide a comprehensive framework for understanding and predicting the behavior of objects in motion, serving as a cornerstone of animators to create realistic and dynamic movement in their animations. Gravity in animation. Gravitational force between object is calculated using Newton's law and displayed on the screen as force. This force is added between each frame to the current motion of each object. The motion of each object goes up or down by the amount of force between it and the other objects on each timestamp. The center of gravity, the center of the average mass distribution. This point needs to be above a base of support of a character to keep more is also important because it determines the weight shift. Specifically, when a character changes poses the center of gravity, the center of the average mass distribution. Motion and kinematics. Motion and kinematics are the fundamental concepts in animation, defining the way objects move and interact within a given space. Animators leverage these principles to create realistic movement by understanding the intricacy of motion, such as speed, direction, and acceleration. Kinematics, which focuses on the mathematical description of motion, aids animators in precisely choreographing sequence. By applying these concepts, Animators can ensure that characters and objects move believably, maintaining consistency with the laws of physics. The thoughtful integration of motion and kinematics allow for the creation of dynamic, visually engaging animations that resonate the audience through their authenticity and fluidity. Pendulum motion in animation. Pendulum motion, characterized by the rhythmic and the back and forth swing of an object under the influence of gravity, finds application in animation to create a dynamic and visually appealing effect. Animators often utilize pendulum motion principles to stimulate the realistic movement, such as the swing of the character's limbs, a pendulum like motion in hair, or the controlled oscillations of objects like a hanging lamp. This technique adds a natural fluidity to animation, contributing to the lifelike quality of characters and elements. Fluid dynamics in animation. Animating realistic fluid dynamics involves intricate stimulation to replicate the movement of the liquid in Frozen 2. The Enchanted River showcases the stunning fluid animation with accurate flow and behavior. Video games like Uncharted 4 utilizes advanced fluid dynamics for realistic water effect, creating immersive environment with the dynamically flowing rivers and convincing water interactions. These examples highlight how animators leverage fluid dynamics to bring heightened sense of realism to both cinematic and gaming experiences. Sound and physics. Sound integration in animation relief on physics. Principles like acoustic and wave propagation in Toy Story, the clinking of toys follows realistic sound physics, enhancing the tactile sense of the animated world. In the game like The Last of Us Part 2, especially audio design uses principles of sound reflection to immerse the players in a dynamic and lifelike environment. These applications of physics in a sound contribute to a more authentic and engaging animation experience, enriching the overall sensory impact. Special effect and physics. Physics is a crucial in animating special effects, adding realism to explosion, fire, and other dynamic elements. In movies like Avatar, they use physics in the explosion effect brings authenticity to the chaos of battle scenes. In animated series like Dragon Ball Z, the energy blast adhere to physics principles, creating visually stunning and believable effects. Future trends. Emerging technologies in physics-based animation include real-time physics simulation, AI-driven dynamic system, and advanced rendering techniques. The future promises even more realistic animations through the integration of haptic feedback for tactile dimension and the adoption of quantum computing for an unparalleled stimulation precision. As technology evolves, physics will play an increasingly integral role in shaping the next generation on immersive